You have love, the real kind, the kind people search their whole lives for and don't always find. And some nights you lie awake doing math you wish you didn't have to do. The rent that's due. The thing you wanted to buy your kid that you quietly put back on the shelf. Telling them maybe next month. Watching their face accept it faster than it should have to. The friend who casually mentioned their bonus this year, and you smiled and said that's amazing and meant it, and also felt something tighten in your chest that you didn't examine too closely because examining it felt unfair to the life you actually have. You chose this life. Nobody made you. You looked at a fork in the road once, maybe more than once, and you chose warmth over ambition, presence over more, and most days you don't regret it, not even close. But some nights, the unpaid bill on the counter looks back at you, and you wonder what the other version of your life might have looked like. The one you can almost see if you squint, the one that exists only in the space of what if. Tonight is about that wondering, not to talk you out of it, just to sit in it with you for a while, without judgment, without a tidy answer waiting at the end. I want to tell you about a conversation I almost didn't have. A friend of mine, years ago, told me about a job offer. Better title, more money than she'd ever made. The kind of number that changes how you sleep at night, how you walk into a room, how strangers treat you before they even know your name. It also meant relocating, long hours, the kind of role that eats weekends without asking permission first. She had a husband and 2 kids who loved their small life exactly as it was. The same park every Sunday. The same neighbors who knew their names. The bay, worn, soft couch nobody wanted to replace because too many good nights had happened on it. She turned it down. I remember asking her, gently, if she was sure, because I could see something in her face that wasn't quite peaceful, not entirely, something more complicated than relief. And she said something I've thought about ever since. She said, I didn't turn down the money. I turned down a version of myself I wasn't ready to become. But here's the honest part of that story, the part that doesn't make it into the tidy version. She told me a few years later over coffee, almost as an aside, that some nights she still ran the numbers in her head, what that salary would have meant, what it would have bought. Not extravagance, just ease. The kind of ease that means not flinching when the car needs a repair. Not because she regretted her kids, or her husband, or the small life she built on purpose, but because choosing one beautiful thing always means quietly grieving the other one, even when you'd make the same choice again tomorrow without hesitation. I think about a different version of this too. Someone I knew only briefly, a woman who ran a small bakery, the kind of place that smelled like cardamom and butter from the sidewalk outside. She told me once, while wrapping a loaf for me, that she used to work in finance. Good money, terrible hours, a version of success that looked enviable from the outside and felt hollow from the inside, she said, like wearing a coat that was never quite the right size. She left it for flour and early mornings, and a life that paid less and gave back more, in a currency that doesn't show up on any account statement. She wasn't wistful about the money she walked away from, but she did say, quietly, almost embarrassed to admit it, that she still budgeted carefully, still felt that small flinch sometimes when a customer haggled over a $2 loaf. Both things were true for her at once, the rightness of her choice and the ongoing cost of it. That's the part nobody tells you about choosing love over ambition. It's not a clean win. It's not, I chose right, and now I feel only peace. It's peace, and also a low hum of what if that shows up sometimes at 2 a.m., uninvited, and you have to decide what to do with it when it arrives. I think we've been sold a story that says you can have it all if you just want it badly enough, work hard enough, optimize enough, hustle through the exhaustion until the universe rewards your effort with both things at once. And maybe some people do get close, but most people make a choice somewhere along the way, even if they never named it out loud as a choice. And then they spend years quietly wondering if they chose right, especially on the nights when the bills are louder than the love. Here's what I want you to know, though. If you're the one who chose this, the warmth, the presence, the love that doesn't pay rent, but makes the rent feel worth paying, the ache you feel about money isn't proof you chose wrong. It's just proof you're human, and humans want more than one thing at a time, and that's not a character flaw, no matter how much it might feel like one in the quiet hours. You're allowed to love your life, and also wish it came with a little more breathing room. Those two things can both be true on the same Tuesday, sitting right next to each other without canceling each other out. What I've come to believe, and I say this gently, not as a fix, because there isn't a clean one, is that the answer probably isn't choosing between the two extremes forever. It's something smaller and harder to talk about in a tidy sentence. It's letting yourself want a little more, without that wanting meaning you have to give up what you already have. It's having an honest conversation with the people you love about what's actually possible. Not chasing the version of ambition that cost my friend a different kind of peace, but maybe finding the smaller, quieter version of more. A skill picked back up, a side project on a Sunday afternoon, a conversation about money that isn't shameful or silent, just honest, between people who chose each other and are allowed to want things too, even now, even after the choice has already been made. Balance isn't a finish line you cross once and then relax forever. It's something you keep choosing in small, unglamorous ways, on ordinary days that don't feel like big decisions at the time, but quietly add up to the shape of a life. You have something most people spend their whole lives looking for. That's real, and it's not a consolation prize, no matter what the math on the counter tries to tell you at midnight. But it's also allowed to coexist with wanting a little more room to breathe, and wanting that doesn't make you ungrateful. It makes you someone who's still growing, even inside a life you already love. If there's one honest conversation about money you've been avoiding having with someone you trust, not out of shame, just out of habit, out of not wanting to disturb something good, maybe that's the small, brave thing for this week. Not a grand reinvention, just one honest sentence said out loud to someone who already loves you and can probably handle hearing it. You sat with something hard tonight, instead of pretending it wasn't there. That's not nothing. Be gentle with yourself. I'll be here. Same voice, same time, whenever you need it.